American Giant makes great clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, code STAPLE20.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Of transitions.
You are listening to The Age of Transitions. I'm your host, Aaron Franz, coming at you live this Friday night, August 9th, 2024. Live every Friday night from the facilities of Ochelli.com. The first hour is The Age of Transitions. Second hour is Uncle the Podcast. Thank you for listening. Do please consider sending a donation to Chuck and the network at Ochelli.com. Keep the network going. Please do consider doing that if you're able to. My website is theageoftransitions.com. You can find the podcast there. You can support me directly there. I have different things. The Revolve Man's Scientific Rise to Godhood is my book. It's the best way to support the show, really, is get a copy of that. Ebook or paperback copies are available at Revolve. Thank you, everybody who has bought one of those or who will. Also have shirts for the show, Age of Transitions, Uncle the Podcast. Have the Patreon campaign. Thank you, everybody supporting there. And also have the affiliate links. If you want to start your own podcast, I do recommend using Libsyn as your podcast hosting service. If you sign up and you use promo code FRANZ, you will get 2 months for free. And it does make the business of podcasting easy, I can tell you. There's also bookshop.org link on the side of theageoftransitions.com. Click through that link, and then when you buy anything there after clicking through the link, I'll get a small amount for the referral. Won't cost anything extra for you. But if you are thinking about picking up, maybe Dawn of the New Day or whatever Kevin Roberts' new book is when it comes out, I know you want to read that. Get it from bookshop.org. If you want to read the biography of Jamie Kennedy, buy it from bookshop.org. I don't know if Joe Rogan has a book, but I'll bet he probably does. Click through the link on theageoftransitions.com, then buy Joe Rogan's book at bookshop.org. I'll make a little bit of money, or it'll go toward the Age of Transitions. So just remember, it doesn't have to be a good book. It can be a garbage book. Buy whatever you want there. I don't care. But if you click through the link on my website first, I'll get a referral fee for the affiliate link. That's how they work. So thank you, anybody who has or will do that. Keep that in the back of your head. Any sort of book or publication or anything, check out bookshop.org and see what they have, because they have other things there too. Check it out, see if there's anything you like. It's another way to support the Age of Transitions, and I thank you for that. We are here. I'm glad to be here. I didn't know if I was going to make it, honestly. I was at work today, and it's hard to tell how long I'm going to end up being there on any given day, but I made it. I escaped from work. It's like Snake Plissken in Escape from L.A., the second movie, because I'm not in L.A., but close to it. So we're going to go with that one. I escaped, and I feel good about it. Real good. This past weekend was nice. I went up to the High Sierras, the Eastern Sierra area, a little north of Bishop, California. Nice area. I was in the mountains, camping, place called June Lake. It was really good. Had the family there. The kids really enjoyed it. I did. It was good. It was good to be able to do that. So that was a really, really fun time. Of course, I wished I could have stayed there longer, camped a couple nights, but I would have liked to camp a full week for sure. There's so many different interesting things up that way that I want to see that I haven't yet, things to see and do. So hopefully I can go back there, spend a bit more time in the future, but always good to do something like that. Yes, beautiful trips out to nature. I hope maybe all of you have been able to do something like that this summer or any time. Be able to get out and get away from it all. It's not everybody needs to do that. And again, I wish we all had more time to be doing stuff like that, but we don't. Coming back to work after that trip was tough because it hit me hard being at work after being in such a natural, beautiful place like that, being in such an unnatural and I'm not going to say abominable, but just completely unnatural environs that is my workplace, which is, the case for most people. Workplace is an artificial nightmare that's been inflicted upon all of us. And just being in there I had to stave off minor depression. But I'd say like the bulk of my day, the first day back was just that. It's like, just being in there and just the, just being in that space after being in such a beautiful space prior to that I was feeling it. But I'm back in the swing of things. I'm back doing the old grind, the old routine, back into the routine. It's wonderful. Everybody likes a routine. Everybody likes to do the same thing all the time. We've made a real boring world. We've created an artificial and boring, mundane world where we do a bunch of stuff that, it's very amazing to me. I was just thinking this. It's amazing how we've built such a boring world that is simultaneously not boring, but actually fascinating in how much we have done. This world we have built, the world of man, not the world of nature. Not that we're not within that, still we are, but we've built this world for ourselves within this natural world that we all came from. And we have built it up to great heights. It is very boring, very mundane, very dull and uninspiring. For the most part, for great portions of our lives, we're just bored out of our minds and in misery that we're seemingly doing nothing. But at the same time, we are doing quite a bit. And in doing a small amount, our efforts are multiplied thanks due to technique. Technology and technique is such that we are able to do more with expending less energy. I mean, just using a machine to do something that's the whole point of using a machine. We all use machines, really, in our day-to-day lives to forge onward and upward and build this project up bigger and bigger. Where we stop, we don't know. We don't have an end point. We don't have a true end goal in sight. Sometimes somebody comes around and acts like we do, but we don't. We're just trying to get to this point where we solve all of our problems, most of which at this point are ones that we've created because we've been so busy building up this artificial world. It's starting to have some adverse side effects. And I feel like it was easier to dismiss these sorts of things as just like, well, that's the cost of doing business. It was easier, not even that long ago, to be able to do that. Be like, well, yes, of course. We all see, just the fact that we make all of these artificial things. Pollution is one problem, right? Well, I think you have to be out of your mind to not understand the extent to which pollution and environmental degradation has gotten to. Is just it's the problem. You could say it is like the number one problem. If it's not the number one problem, it's way up there on the to-do list, which is a list that we're not actually doing because we're incapable of doing it. We can't address all of these things because they're endemic to this whole system we've created. And we're just hoping and praying that we can push technique far enough that we'll come up with ways to address all of these pollutants we've created, 90% of which, or 90 to 100% of which, are all inadvertent. They're just byproducts of doing everything we're doing, of industry. Nobody wanted this to happen, but because we have done what we've done, they're there. Now we're just hoping that there will be some technique to solve this issue that we'll be able to clean up. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like the priority for coming up with techniques to clean everything seems to be too high on the list. It's taken a back seat, bare minimum. And also just the idea that we can fix the problem with the thing that created the problem to begin with seems a bit crazy to me. And I don't want to be a pessimist about everything, but just, it seems, how are we going to do it? It seems unlikely. I don't know. And yes, it just seems more and more that you can't deny these things anymore. It used to be we were able to, but now we're not. We're not able to deny the insanity of what we're all taking part in, which is kind of a good thing, that we are maybe finally facing the truth, possibly, but is that what we're even doing? I don't know. It's debatable. It's wacky. It's wacky. It's wild. It's unnatural. But here we are. Here we are. It's just kind of nice to realize that we can't just sit here in disgusting vanity and pride and say, boy, we've done a great job. Fewer and fewer people are doing that now, which I see as a good thing. Because can we not be realistic about what's going on? Does that not have value? And I think, surprisingly, that the answer is yes, it does have value, and more people are realizing that. So we have that going for us. That's one thing. So that's something to take heart in, I suppose. Let's see here. I'm going to read from Phase Shifter and Ochelli.com chat room here. I just want to see what he's saying. Well, first of all, he says it's a condition called PVD, post-vacation depression. I know it well. Yeah, it's real. Goodness gracious. I was dealing with that hard that first day, and I think I staved it off as much as is possible. But yeah, that was crazy that first day back. And then he also says the ecology issues are now hidden in climate change or climate crisis. Just buy some carbon credits and shut up. Yeah, I mean, if that as a solution is actually like floated as a way to do anything that's going to be I mean, that's ridiculous. Carbon credit isn't going to do a thing. I mean, and the biggest perpetrators are not about to do anything, like the big oil companies and all that. And it's a real catch-22 situation we're in, because you can factually argue the fact that the use of oil gives us our modern world and conveniences that we have. I'm not going to deny that. But you also have to realize that it's come with the burden to the planet that's caused. And the companies making massive profits off of the whole thing know this, and they don't care, and they're not about to clean up their own mess. So yeah, what do you do? Does I don't know. I do not know what to do. I don't have answers. I just know that we seem to be careening down the highway ever faster, not stopping. Maybe more people are starting to care, which is good. But I just hope that we don't get a lot of people acting out of desperation, because no real alternatives or good solutions are forthcoming. They haven't been yet. And what, we just hold out for the hope that we'll be able to clean things up? I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it just seems unlikely. Perhaps I am a pessimist. I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to be. If there are solutions, I think we should go for them and try them. I mean, what is there to lose at this point? Doesn't seem like a whole lot. Doesn't seem like the average person is getting a whole lot out of this deal, are they? That's another insanity of our modern world, that it's that ever-widening equity gap, right, between the top and the bottom. The top just going further and further, hoarding and more wealth, and the bottom getting ever more crowded with more people there, because there's no middle anymore, and just less and less, getting less and less, doing more work for less and less all the time. And I don't know, it just seems like a surefire way for issues. And I think it goes a long way in explaining a lot of the frustrations we see. And all of the political turmoil is really based off of this situation. You've got everybody fed up with a bad situation, that they're demanding some kind of answers and change, and that's why they'll grasp onto anything. That's why Donald Trump is popular, because he pretends like he is a solution, that he has solutions, that he's the guy for the downtrodden. And people believe it, and I'm not going to sit here and judge people for believing a lot of BS. We all believe nonsense at some point. So, you know, it's not anybody's fault for latching on to false solutions. There's so many of them. And aren't we all just holding out for one that's not a fraud? Isn't that what we all want? Something that's not a farce, not a fraud, not a con, not some cult to join, not a pyramid scheme, not some get-rich-quick campaign where we desperately hope it's true, and then we know the whole time that's not, but we buy into it out of desperation. Because there has to be a better way. There has to be. Does anybody else get mad at themselves for just feeling like, how can we be this non-creative? How can we be this dull? How can we be this backward and unable to find some sort of way to do something better? I know I'm not happy with myself over that. Not at all. How did it come to this? It's ridiculous. Again, there is a better way. We have to figure it out. I don't know what it is. I'm the last person that you should be asking. Certainly advice on how to get ahead or what to do or ways to get out of the mess that we're in. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Lots of people seem more than willing to tell you answers to that, but as I make the point on the show, I would just put a word of caution out when you're shopping around for those sorts of folks, because you're going to be disappointed more often than not by their wares, by their so-called solutions, by their products. So that's disheartening too, isn't it? When you believe in something or somebody and then they just turn out to be just another pile of garbage. Just garbage, hawking garbage. Just another refuse site, and there's more pollution. Let's work harder and harder to make more and more trash. More and more things that exist seemingly solely for the purpose of being trash. I mean, companies have the incentive to sell things that break because, then you sell more of them. The planned obsolescence concept is real. So if you can figure out a way to market garbage to people, then you can be a success. But, what does that even mean is the philosophical question, which we don't have time for philosophy because we're all just trying to survive. Perhaps in selling garbage to people, you did find a get-rich-quick scheme. So I suppose congratulations in that regard, that you actually found a way ahead so that you're not dying of starvation anymore. So that aspect of what you've done is good. The fact that you've created more and more waste and garbage and pollution for us to destroy the earth further than we already have, well, that's bad. But I guess I won't judge you for doing it. We all do it to one extent or another. So I'm not here going to play like I'm morally superior to you, because I'm not. Let's see here. What else is on my old mind? Not much, really. I don't know. Let's check out my Twitter feed, I guess. Let's see what's. I found. I might, on a positive note, I might almost be figuring out how to use this app. I've figured out that responding and posting comments to, you don't have to think about the comment. You just have to make a silly comment. There was a video of Trump talking about how he was going to make the economy better and how it was good under him. And he's talking about drilling, and he was talking about the price of bacon. And then he was talking about whatever, and stupid stuff like that. And I made the comment, drilling for bacon. And boy, people seem to like that one. So I guess that's all you got to do on here. So I guess I got to just post more responses. I guess I got to put more time into being on Twitter and posting replies like drilling for bacon.
That seems
that's the kind of poignant material that works, Chuck.
That's the way to punch up, down, and sideways at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not excited for Kamala Walsh? No.
I mean,
you're from California. She's your homie, yeah.
I'm not excited. No, I will say about the presidential election, I will say that I believe the Democrats they have the advantage now at present. That they seem to be holding the advantage
What gives
in
you
the
that
election
idea?
at present.
What gives you that idea? Seriously.
Well, it's this simple thing is going into this election. What was everybody saying about it? Oh God, it's Biden and Trump, these two old guys that we hate. It's the same thing that we had before, and it's come right back again. We're forced to make a choice of the same two, and then one of them is taken away, Biden, and replaced, yes, with his vice president. So I mean, what's the difference? But I mean, it's something different. And Trump is still Trump, the old guy that nobody likes. It's like, oh, okay, finally something different. And it's like, okay, Harris, okay. So just that alone, I think they have the advantage there is that, oh, thank God this thing changed to something else. So I think they have that going for them.
Mm-hmm. See, that's sort of like, look, you took away my dog crap sandwich and you gave me a cat crap sandwich. You know, I mean, what? I like cats better? I mean, that's where we're at. The way I see it.
Yeah.
But some people are excited. And you know what's funny? Is how about the endurance of individuals and the ideas? Because that's the funny thing I'm hearing in all what you're talking about tonight, is that a lot of things don't endure. People don't stay on topic. People don't stay on task. And that's why nothing ever gets done. Oh, the environment sucks. Look, the air's terrible. Let's do something. And then it stops. You know what I'm saying? It's always that issue. What about people's short attention spans and their short spans to attention when it comes to an issue? It's never there. So here's the funny part. It's only August. And no, we've never had a presidential candidate slip out of the race and a new one slip in this late. So it's different. Yes, it's different. But is it really? Are you not still just dealing with basically the same topics and the same loyalists on one side of the equation for sure? Right? And, Joe Rogan says that he endorses RFK Jr. So,
yes.
Wild card in play, baby. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I was looking at the RFK Jr. thing today, too, which is interesting because, Joe Rogan gave him his he said he supports him. And then almost instantly after that, there's talk that RFK Jr. is going to drop out of the race and say that he supports Donald Trump and that, his supporters should vote for Donald Trump, which is very interesting that those two things happen at the same time. And so, it's just it's a good way for – I don't know what's going on exactly, but it's a good way for Joe Rogan to go, hey, look, I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I'm telling you to vote for, the alternative guy, RFK Jr., which just turns into a vote for Trump under this new – oh, well, sorry, I got to drop out and get a vote for Trump. So it's another – weird way that Joe Rogan kind of wiggles around things and he doesn't have to believe a damn thing. He can just sit there and promote all these stupid, like, far right-wing ideologies and then pretend that he's not. He's adept at doing that. He's like the best at that. He's like, oh, I'm just some guy talking about Sasquatch, and sometimes I talk about politics a lot. That's like his whole thing. It's like a guy talking about Sasquatch, and I'll talk about, whine about the woke agenda like everybody else and then he gets to pretend like he's not political. I don't know. Another thing to be annoyed at is that.
King of the podcast, though. King of the podcast, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he can have that. He is, and it's undisputed. I'm not going to deny that. He is that. He's created a brand. He knows what he's doing. He's made it an actual business, which is impressive. He was early into the medium, so he's been around a while, so you got to give him respect, and just that he had like the foresight to be doing this in the first place when lots of people were saying it was useless. Now nobody's saying that anymore. So, he has his you got to give him credit where it's due, but at the same time his show is incredibly annoying. But whatever. It's nothing special. A lot are. I'm just trying to make this one not like that. So I don't know if I'm being successful or not, but at least the thought is there. The intent is there. So I got that going for me. But yeah. Anyway, let's see here. To go back to Twitter, I made a comment once again mentioning something about somebody was saying they posted a picture, oh God, of Stefan Molyneux, and they were asking, where's this guy gone? And I just made the point, like, he was and likely still is an online cult leader. I don't know what he's up to. I know that that's what he was doing. He probably still is. We're not seeing as much. Maybe he's more dedicated to his cult because he's got his little acolytes that are giving him all of their money now. He very likely is doing that. I don't know, but he might have built up a set of real strong followers that do that sort of thing for him, where he doesn't need to be online anymore. I would assume that's very likely what has happened. Again, I haven't been following him. I could care less about him. I think he's horrible. He's a terrible person. And I was scrolling down through the comments. People were like, "Oh, I miss him. Oh, he's great." It's just it brings back the old topic of this digital medium, which is all of social media. It's not just Twitter. It's just all social media, internet as we now know it, with these folks out there promoting themselves like Stefan Molyneux, creating little online empires. Joe Rogan has a larger than most online empire, very successful one. Stefan Molyneux did not get to Rogan status, although he did. What he did was substantial in terms of the influence he was able to peddle using these tools. And so it should be noted that people can do quite a bit with these things and quite a bit of damage. And when the damage is done, it goes mostly unnoticed, because this is a weird augmented reality that we're living in now. Because when somebody goes online and creates media and starts propagandizing, whether just for themselves and their own just self-interest, direct self-interest, like Molyneux is most likely doing, or if they are propagandizing for themselves for their own benefit, that they're making a career, but also they're doing propaganda work for a greater organization, that happens a lot too. These things are happening to a degree that very few people have come to terms and actually realized yet. It's also innocuous, and the optics, if you just take everything for granted, which most of us are, and we need to stop. You take this stuff for granted. You're just like, oh, Stefan Molyneux was the guy who's trying to help everybody by pointing out, all of these logical fallacies in the world, and he was trying to help enlighten people, and that's what it looks like. If you take that guy for how he's advertising himself, how he portrays himself, see, it's all a persona. It's an online persona that you put out, you craft it, and you just build up this persona, and you build up these narratives around it. You say, you make a mission statement, and you're like, I am doing this. You just keep putting out media, and you build a following. And the whole idea is to get more and more people to believe just that general concept that you are on a mission to fill in the blank. Depends on who you're talking to or talking about. And again, with Joe Rogan, that's like a really fuzzy and nebulous thing, which is particularly annoying about him, is like, what is his mission statement? Is it to be funny because he's a comedian? I mean, he's kind of doing that. He's not the world's funniest comedian, honestly. I mean, he's a comedian. He's making comedy, but then his show also isn't really about that. It's more about Is he sharing alternative ideas? Is he like trying to bring hidden occult knowledge to his listener base and again, enlighten, edify, expand the minds of his listeners? Like he's kind of doing that. He's definitely saying he's doing that. It's not exactly clear what he's doing, but it's working well for him. With a guy like Molyneux, he had a more direct, like, I am here to tell you what's right and what's wrong. So he was more direct and so there's all sorts of different versions of stuff that we're going to encounter with these personas online. But the tie that binds is that the actual people behind these digital personas and creations that they've created, these digital empires, there is an actual person living their life and furthering their self-interest somehow, if they're successful in doing this. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're listening to a guy who has a podcast and has a website and is, using his online persona as he speaks. I'm not denying that's what I'm doing too. But to put you at ease right now, I'm going to tell you that I'm not successful doing this. So, if that ought to make you feel better. I can tell you that I am not bringing home the bacon. I'm not drilling for bacon by doing this. I'm doing this as a labor of love. I do enjoy doing this. I'm happy that I can. I'm thankful for the help of people like Chuck that allow me to do the live show. So I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be like entitled or annoying or anything. I like doing this. But I despise the vast swaths of people doing this for what I know is the wrong reason. And I know this is a recurring theme on the show, is me complaining about everybody else, and I'm sorry about that. But it's become a real issue because clearly people are just taking things at face value. And that face is getting stranger and more nebulous all the time. So we're taking something at face value, yes, but what is at face value was something that's we can't quite put our hand on. It's this weird online slop, this AI-generated nonsense that just kind of is this morphing thing that it moves in and out. It goes with the tides. It goes with the tides of the memes. It goes with the trending topics. What's everybody talking about this given second? Well, that's what I'll talk about. What's my take? What's my instant take? What's my hot take? Does it matter? It doesn't. And once again, going out into the mountains and looking at being within nature makes you realize how stupid it is. I was not on my phone out there. I did have my phone. I was taking photos, but that's all I did. I was not on social media. I was not doing any of that stuff. But clearly, people are taking things for granted. Those who are creating their own little digital empires are exploiting this and exploiting everybody who is taking things at face value. And that's a real shame. It's just, it's strange. It's a strange world we're in now. Once again, augmented reality, we are within it because this weird digital overlay we have brought to us by social media and online connectivity and the cell phones, the mobile devices always being used, that has an effect on the way we live our day-to-day life. We almost, and it can very accurately be described as a augmented reality because we're looking through this lens of online medium as we're walking through the daily world. Like it's so often like we're like asking questions like, oh, what just happened? And then, you do an online search to help you understand what's going on, or you're interacting with the news, once again, the presidential election, all this stuff, your opinions on it, you're reacting to other people's opinions, the other side of the issue you're getting mad about, a lot going on. So there's a lot of things to exploit for anybody who's smart enough and aware enough to realize what this crap actually is and not fall for the farce that we are being sold on. It's like social media is this. If you believe, once again, taking things at face value, if that's what you're doing, forget it. You're done. If you realize what this stuff really is, what's capable of, what's being done with it, then it's another story. Oh, thank you. Yes, I will. It's another story for people of that ilk, which I would say have to be in the minority of people. The folks, the online personalities are out there selling themselves successfully. The smart ones know what they're doing. The useful idiots have no idea, and they're the ones that are propagandizing for someone else, and they don't even know that they're doing it. Lots of those people out there. And then you've got intelligence agencies. You've got corporations. You've got political action groups. You've got special interest groups of all kinds online and using it to promote their cause, to promote their narratives, to promote their own self-interests, theirs and their business partners, whoever that might be. And the networks, the social networks at work involved with those groups is interesting and tangled. And if anybody is keeping track of any of that with accuracy, I commend you, because it's difficult. It can be done, but very difficult. But to simply know that that's happening is putting a foot in the right direction, taking a step in the right direction, which I don't think, certainly most people aren't doing that. So I'm just once again proclaiming that now is the time that we actually get smart about all this stuff. We start getting upset about all of the ways we're being exploited, that where we can get upset at very specific people that we can demonstrate have taken advantage in all different ways. Molyneux, definitely one of those people, can be demonstrated that he took advantage of the people that he was following in many ways. I don't have all of the list of those details in front of me now, but it's out there. So, and I don't mean to pick on just him. There's plenty of people that deserve to be called out for their nonsense. Maybe if we put some effort into this and actually getting justice, but the problem there is that that's what we're all pretending to do. We're like, and the obfuscation comes so fast when those bad actors come in with their misinformation, their disinformation, get us going off into honeypots and going off in wrong directions. And that's so much of what's going online too, is that there is this desire to be doing what it is that I'm talking about we should be doing. And ironically, so many of us are getting in trouble because we're doing that. And we've just fallen and been duped by these silly limited hangouts. And it's nobody should be embarrassed or ashamed that this sort of thing has happened to them, because it happens to everybody. All of us on here, it's happened to. So I don't know. Maybe a campaign for online literacy something, anything. Just being online less, I would recommend. I know that's a tough sell, but I think all of us would benefit from that. Definitely most of us. There are a few people out there who still are not online at all, and well done, all of you who do that. I know you don't hear me now, and you're better off for that.
Aaron, I'm sorry to break in again, but I got to ask a question here, because you used a phrase, and I don't know how to define it. Online literacy. What in the world would that entail in your mind?
Well, it entails reading. Which,
okay, but that's not literacy specific to being online. What is online literacy? Because that's just literacy, right? Literacy is exposure to literature, literally. So, right? So, what would online literacy be?
Well, presumably we're reading online, but that's happening less and less, so it is a poor choice of terms.
Yeah.
Usually it's just visuals and audio at this point, like with the TikToks and all that. So, yeah, it's a horrible label that I shouldn't use because, nobody reads anything. Where there is text online, it's so garbled and doesn't make any sense that what is there to take from it anyway?
Yeah, I started writing a song with somebody, and they quit corresponding with me, but we were bouncing things back and forth, and literally the name of the song was They Used to Be Afraid of the TV. And it was about this. So, because remember, TV was the ultimate evil. Maybe, you're a little younger than me, but I think you were alive when people were like, TV is going to rot your brain. This stuff is terrible. You're exposed to this crap. It's programming. They call it programming because you're being programmed. Okay. And it's all true. But now, what do you tell somebody? Like, if you grab somebody from 1987 and said, look, you think TV's bad? Let me show you 40 years in the future. Come on. They'd lose their minds. Right? Like, you mean to tell me I can pump crap into my head any time of day from a device I can carry in my pocket now? I don't have to have a piece of furniture or a $300, console in my living room, or do I have one in my bedroom, or do I have one in my kitchen because it's ultra deluxe and I've got a TV in the bathroom too? No, you don't need to, because you can just carry it around with you. Here it is in your pocket. Boom. And what do you tell people, right? I mean, how do you become literate in that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not trying to knock you off balance here. I'm serious. I mean, like, when you use the word online literacy, I said, you know what, that's a great sounding term. But what does it mean?
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
good.
I just realizing what it is that we're actually doing, understanding the ways that the medium can and is being exploited is just a first realization. I think you could liken it to being aware of scammers that are so prolific all over our society, not just online, but using all sorts of communications, right? Calling elderly people up and fooling them with whatever scam to get them to send them money. So I think similar to, if there's a way we can, do PSAs to let people know, hey, look, there's people scamming, trying to get your money from you, and they can be this, they can be this, they can be this, and we're still have difficulty with the old archaic scammers, like the Nigerian president that you need to send your check to or whatever, right? So that's we've come. We've made some headway there, but we need to also do that with more arcane online stuff that doesn't appear to be a scam at all. It just appears to be content. Like, oh, here's content. And, you just mindlessly absorb the content, just like the problem with the TV was in the old days, as you're saying, Chuck. It's like you do it without thinking. It's just something to do to pass the time, and it can become addictive, certainly. So you're up against a lot. You're up against something that's just seems to be nothing more than entertainment or a way to spend your time, and behind that is so much more. So I don't know. Let's see. Here we go. Stefan Molyneux Counter Extremism Project.
Ooh.
It's interesting.
So
it looks like somebody's trying to do what I'm saying. It's
somebody's
like,
trying
hey, look,
to do
this guy is bad.
Yeah, but see, there's somebody trying to do anything you can imagine if you search hard enough on the internet. I swear. But what's fascinating to me here is that I don't want to quote the Greek, but I'm still working with him lately on this project, this thing we do on the side. And we do a thing called Rated Y, and it's only on Patreon. But anyways, it's fascinating. I almost want to release the one podcast to the public, which he describes what he calls the meaning of life. And what is the meaning of life at this point? What is your purpose? You know, the ultimate question, right? That used to be the ultimate question. What is the meaning of life, Aaron? Yeah?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It seems like it should have been.
Fair enough. Why are we here? Some people would say. Right? Like, the ultimate existential question. Why are we here? Why am I alive? Why am I conscious? What is the meaning of life? All these things, right? The philosophical. It's fascinating because his recent conclusion is as follows. I'm just going to spoil it. People are just here to waste other people's time. That is literally his conclusion about the meaning of life. I kid you not, it's on there in like a 22-minute discussion where, I keep nagging at him to tell me what the meaning of life is. Then he says it, and then I say, really? And then he explains it. And you know what? I got a hard time arguing with him. A lot of people, it seems as though their entire purpose, nearly as, and here's a disgusting term I know you've heard before because you dipped yourself into the podcast universe. The NPCs out there, the non-player characters, yes. Not just them, but seemingly almost everybody is really just out there to waste your time. That's the meaning of their life. Not necessarily the meaning of mine, but apparently that is what they dedicate themselves to. And I got a hard time. I got a hard time arguing with it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
The Greek isn't admitting that's what he's doing, is he? Is that what that is?
Well, see, now that's funny. You said that because I said, does that mean you're alive? You're here. Does that mean you're doing the same thing? And in one way or another, he kind of roundabout sort of said, yeah. And I'm like, wow. This is why we don't make a lot of money with our podcast. You understand that, right? Because you'll get an honest answer.
Honesty, yeah.
And people
honesty.
don't want it.
You gotta. That's good.
They don't really want the honest answer. They want the gigantic label machine that just gives them the easy directions through life so they can navigate it and call out things. Tell me how to label everything is really what most podcast listeners want. Tell me how to label this. Is it true? Is it not true? Is it right? Is it left? Is it good? Is it bad? That's what people want from their podcast. That's why Joe Rogan succeeds. Because he gives the impression that he gives those answers, but you talk to two different Joe Rogan listeners, you'll get entirely diverse answers to the questions. I'm sorry, the weenie dog's barking in the back, but I'm going to let you go, Aaron, because you only got like 3 more minutes left to conclude your exploration tonight. And I'm sorry I jumped in a couple of times, but I don't know. I felt the urge to, and you've always said go ahead if you want to. So I thought this was important to mention. That if you think about it that way, that people are just here to waste your time, you know what? Maybe things are not as serious as they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, why is this person incompetently doing this to me on the grocery line? Why is this driver stopping every 3? You know what? If they're just here to waste your time and that's really what their purpose is, mission accomplished, baby. and while you're scrolling through your phone or going through your online stuff, mission accomplished. Now, does that mean that that's all they do? Maybe not, but that seems to be a very serious category of what goes on a daily basis, in my mind. Sometimes they pay you to waste your time, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they give you something to waste your time. Sometimes they don't. But either way, a lot of people, it just seems to me, are just out to do exactly that. Waste your time. I don't know, Aaron. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, I'm going to shut up.
No, I appreciate the help because that's what it was. I'm glad you jumped in there. I was struggling. It's hard to know what to even say a lot of times, and tonight is one of those times, to be sure. It's hard to know what to make of this mess. It's hard to know what to say. I don't have the answers. I'm not claiming that I do. I don't want to be one of those people who does, because more often than not, that seems to be more of a problem than not having answers. So I don't know. I'm just exploring concepts and ideas and online literacy. Maybe I'll go back to the old drawing board and come up with a new label to describe that project. Just the project of understanding online life and life mediated by online activity, the augmented reality we all exist in on a day-to-day basis and take for granted. Because things taken for granted are always opportunities to me. It's like, well, what are we taking for granted, and how might we lessen that? I mean, we're probably still going to take things taken for granted mostly, but can we at least stop and think about it for a moment so that maybe we won't be taking things for granted as badly as before? And that's a pretty modest goal, I'd say. We're not setting the bar high. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm just trying to make realistic goals here. You got to start somewhere. Let's just start by saying that you can't trust a lot of these online personas. And I mean, if you want to enjoy their wares and be entertained by it, that's fine. But just, realize that they might be trying to do something else. And if you're doing that, if you've got that conscious awareness, congratulations. So I would say it's an uncommon thing. But anyway, that's it for the Age of Transitions tonight. My website is theageoftransitions.com. Please stay tuned to the Ochelli Radio Network because we're moving right into Uncle the Podcast now. Please do continue listening. My name is Aaron.
Ochelli.com. Do you like history? Real history that you were never taught in schools? Why? The Vietnam War, nuclear bombs and nation building in Southeast Asia. By author Mike Swanson, with new documentation never seen before that'll open your eyes to events that led up to this. Why? The Vietnam War, nuclear bombs and nation building in Southeast Asia, 1945 through 1961. Get your copy today at Amazon.com. Why? The Vietnam War, by author Mike Swanson.
Revelation through conversation.
Nuclear holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of, you know what uranium is, right? Bad things. Things are done with uranium, including some bad things. Nuclear holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? I've been briefed. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. You know what uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of, you know what uranium is, right? Bad things. Things are done with uranium, including some bad things. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust. Nuclear holocaust.
The War State by Michael Swanson explains the great national transformation that took place and put the Kennedy presidency in the context of the times and reveals never-before published information about the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Kennedy would not have been assassinated if he had been president 200 years ago. His assassination took place in the context of the Cold War and the rise of the national security state. Before World War II, the United States was a continental republic. In the decade that followed, it became an imperial superpower. Generals such as Curtis LeMay not only wanted to invade Cuba, but knew that there were short-range missiles on the island armed with nuclear warheads that they could not destroy because they were on mobile launchers. Their invasion could have led to a third world war, and they wanted to go to war anyway. The War State by Michael Swanson reveals why and will show you what President Kennedy was up against. For more information, thewarstate.com.
Ochelli.com.
In Denial, Secret Wars with Airstrikes and Tanks by Larry Hancock. Secret wars became a staple of U.S. covert operations and are still happening today. Larry Hancock's book, In Denial, rips the cover off many of them. Using new files, it exposes things about the Bay of Pigs that no one has ever written about before. It shows why it really failed and why the United States did not learn from it. It also shows why other countries today are doing secret operations with more success. This is the book that puts what some want to deny into the light. In Denial, Secret Wars with Airstrikes and Tanks. Larry Hancock. For more information, go to larry-hancock.com. Pick up your copy of In Denial at amazon.com in digital or physical form.
This is a Munising Broadcast. Code Red, Code Red, Code Red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the Podcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the Podcast.
You are listening to Uncle the Broadcast. My name is Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is the star of the show, Uncle.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 340 we on.
It's exciting. This is an exciting moment for us. We made it this far. Gosh, this is something special. I forgot to turn the lights on, Uncle. Gosh, what kind of director am I?
Are you not director? What's going on?
I'll tell you there, director, you're not doing so well with that, the lighting and all that, but something else came up too. Last week, you guys had drinks. And you know what you forgot to do, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You're right.
I just wanted to remind you.
We have to do that. Call up for the
we do
the testing of the drink.
So we did a beer review, and it was the first time ever we forgot to give it the rating of 1 to 10 at the end. We just forgot.
Right. Completely forgot about it with all the talking we had with 2 other guys on this line.
What were we thinking?
Well, to start that off with, now that he mentioned it, let's go ahead and rate it. So get that out of the way.
So,
okay. What do you give it?
Okay, so the beer, once again, that we drank last week on the show was Taiwan beer grapefruit flavored beer, malt beverage, which was a very low alcohol content.
Quick little notes on that is that not only was it not high in alcohol content, but when you say grapefruit, people are thinking like, something that's a cousin to an orange. And no, it's more like grape the fruit. So it tasted like grape to you guys. And again, very low alcohol content, like not near beer, but barely a beer. How about that? Because it was 2.9% or 2. What was it? 2.3, 2.6?
Yeah, 2.8. Yeah, 2.8, which is very low.
Very low percent alcohol, right? And I mean, God, barely a beer. So you guys did not do the rating, and it was strange. We realized it like right after we closed out the microphones, and it was like, "Hey, what about the numbers?" Oh yeah.
I know. I'm just
gotten some important topics.
We kick it off with that. Start that, and since you've said something, check.
Yeah. So okay, like you said, Uncle, I'll give my rating of Taiwan beer, grapefruit flavored beer. I would say I give it a 6 out of 10. It was not something I'd want to drink usually, but it tasted fine. I mean, if I wanted something that tasted like grape juice / grape soda, I would drink it because that's what it is, but I don't really want that, so the 6, you know. What do you say, Uncle?
Same one.
Same rating?
Yeah.
6.
6. Because it didn't have the, like I said, the push of what everybody's talking about, fruit or contact of a liquor drink. I've had a better drink, of course, than that for Damon New Revolution. I had better drinks than that.
We've had a lot of better drinks than Taiwan beer, grapefruit flavored beer. That's for sure. So I mean, it's for novelty. It could be fun if you like sweet stuff. It tastes okay, but
if somebody has like a sweet tooth, they go for something like that. Or something like a sweet drink.
Yeah, but Uncle, we should mention this is the live show Friday night. We do take calls, so you can call if you want to. If you're out there in the audience, you want to call in, please do. Number is 319-527-5016, or you can use Skype, actually, and you can type a message to Chuck. He is Charles Ochelli. If you type him a message, he'll call you into the show, or just call with your phone, 319-527-5016. We're live on the Ochelli Radio Network Friday night, always.
Well, here we are, people. This is the preseason week.
Oh, yeah, football's back, right?
Football's back.
Yeah. Very good.
If what's his name's on that line, yeah. Let's see what your rookies can do.
Mike Ditka? We talking about Mike Ditka?
No, talking about the Tiger Boy.
The Tiger Boy? Oh, yes, the Tiger Boy. Yes. So we'll see
if he's on the line.
Any NFL fans or any anybody employed by the NFL? It'd be cool if we got a call from you. We'd like to hear and get your expertise on all of this.
What do you all think about the new rules? That's the question I want to ask them.
They have some interesting new ones, don't they? They have the what was it with the when they're doing the kickoff?
The kickoff.
They're really close to each other, right?
Yeah. Only person who far is the kicker, because he has to kick it down there, so he has to be away from everybody else.
So the kicker is kind of far, but then
everybody
the defense
else is all up together.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like it's sort of like the what you call it games.
The Olympics?
The Olympic Games.
It's like the Olympics?
The setup.
Being close together like that is like the Olympics.
To me, yes. On a football field.
Okay.
You know that handball game?
It's like handball.
A handball game.
Okay.
It looked just like that kind of setup.
Yeah.
How they're talking. I mean, it's crazy.
I see the similarity.
Yeah, see it?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
I mean, maybe. I don't know what – I think it seems obvious that the reason that they made the change is that they want to reduce injuries on the punt returns.
That right? I can see. That I can understand.
I'm guessing that's what they're going for there.
Yeah.
But I know that there has been a reaction to it. I haven't really listened to what people are saying about whether they love it, they hate it, blah, blah. Probably there's all sorts of reactions, right? But yeah, I noticed that them doing it.
Yeah. I've seen them in a few of these preseason games. How they got them? They had them set up, and they're so close together, like that game I mentioned, and it's going back and forth, but with the running in the football.
Indeed. Uncle, did you know that our purpose is to waste people's time?
I know, because everybody has to listen to us. I know that. That's an easy one.
I learned that in government hour this today. I'm glad I did. I learned something. Yeah.
Well, that talking about your hour.
Yeah.
They're tightening it up. I see.
Yeah.
On the people there.
You're talking about government now?
Government, at the time.
That government just won't quit, Uncle. I don't know what to do about it. It doesn't seem to ever go away. I just have to keep talking about it. It's like, can the government just stop? What about that government shutdown about? Why can't that just happen indefinitely? That way we don't have to worry about the government anymore.
Is there another government shutdown coming?
It might be.
Well, why not?
It might be.
See,
it might be if everybody don't get their act together.
He had a whole hour, and he didn't bring up a government shutdown on government hour. I mean, what's going on here?
He didn't?
No, he didn't bring it up. And I got
that's surprising because that's all that I've been listening to, or they were listening to on their phones today while we're going on about the vice president and how he's going after Trump. That's one.
All that. I was actually going to ask you something, Uncle, about something that he mentioned on Government Hour, but it's not really a Government Hour topic. Did you go camping too this week?
No.
You didn't go. Oh, okay. So you were home.
No, they went because I didn't have my own tent. They didn't have me set up my own tent. So I now got an own tent that I can sleep in, that no one can bother me. But I was I didn't go. No. They did.
I understand. If I had a tent at home, I'd set it up every once in a while just outside, I would do that.
That's what I'm thinking of doing.
I tell you, that's what I would do. If I had my own solid tent that I could zip up and nobody could get in, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Not a bad idea.
Quiet out there.
Yeah, Uncle wasn't on this camping trip. You went on, what was
the last one I went on was the one with your surprise.
When we went to, where did we go again? Oh, Sequoia Sequoia Forest. Yeah, National Forest.
That was nice.
That was nice.
I like that. I mean, that was the last one I went to.
That was last summer. Yeah. Okay. You were on that one. That was a good trip. That was a good camping trip. Wouldn't mind going back up there too. But yeah, well, maybe we'll go to the desert and camp sometime soon too, when it cools off a bit. Not right now.
Yeah. This talking about this heat. Yeah, for them. Might as well go on that subject. This heat has been going on and going off. On and off. But this week, it's now going back down to 80, where it'd be comfortable for the dogs and us people walking them. So, but that would be nice to have comfortable walking time instead of...
Guess what, Uncle?
What?
Drilling for bacon.
Bacon?
Drilling for bacon.
Who is?
Well, I can tell you that's what gets engagement for me on Twitter. Drilling for bacon. So I'm going to do it here on the podcast and just hope and pray to the podcast gods that it works the same way on podcasts as it does on comment section on Twitter.
Interesting. Now I'm getting me to guess.
We just got some subscriptions with me saying that, I think.
Subscription?
I think we might have. I think that's how it works. If I know anything about this podcasting business, it's this. Drilling for bacon definitely drives engagement. Okay? How could it not work?
Sounds like a t-shirt to me.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, too. I was thinking the same thing. That is a t-shirt. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it sounds like an MST song, Uncle. That, too. That could be a good MST song, Drilling for Bacon.
Let's get those callers ringing in there, Chuck.
Okay, as soon as they show up, I'll put them on.
They're about to stream in, Uncle. We're streaming. We're live streaming. The callers are going to stream in. We're actually on, let's see here. We are on, let me see the destinations. We are on my Twitter page, which it seems to be getting the most views there at the moment. We're doing, good thing I got that blue check mark, Uncle. We're also on Trovo. That's working. Or wait, no, we're on Kick. That's working. Trovo, I'm not sure if it's working or not. We're on Twitch and we're on YouTube, and we do have people watching.
That YouTube has been top notch on this my podcast because that's been the topic
Does a good job.
That one.
Yeah.
To take this that one has been pulling a lot of them.
I got to say, Uncle, yes, YouTube is great, and we do get a lot of views and do a good job over there. But for some reason, these live streams have been doing, and now that we're back on doing the Twitter streaming, it seems to get the most views over there. I don't know.
What the reviews? What ones are we talking about? The X?
The X, yeah, that's X, yes.
Oh, that's the X. I've been trying to find what's this X one.
Yeah, it's what was Twitter. They rebranded it because Elon Musk is annoying and he can't help himself from doing really stupid, annoying things.
Well, he's got to make it.
So he rebranded it.
Yeah, he's got to make it match SpaceX X. See?
Oh,
okay. Well,
so he's the one doing it. He's behind this calling.
He sure is. That and a lot of other things.
Well, if you couldn't have that, what kind of things could we be talking about other than that?
What could we talk about X other than that?
Yeah, other with X.
Well, we can talk about whatever we want, Uncle. This is your show. You get name the topic. Just name your pet issue right now, Uncle. Tell the people what they need to hear. Tell them what you want to tell them. This is Uncle the Podcast. This is your hour. Let loose. Let the people know, Uncle.
We're talking about no comedy film. Putting the comedies together. I'm trying to put comedy together in D-text. This kind of D-text of kind of stuff. Trying to get people to talk again. This is what I'm trying to get.
Make people talk again. How's that for a campaign?
I'm trying to understand. But I know not taking things out of proportion. They are yelling up and down the stream about this kind of convention that they've been having.
So the Uncle campaign, so the Uncle campaign slogan is, you want to make America conversate again.
Good.
There you go.
That was it.
Very good.
Commentate again to have a conversation with everybody chatting.
Yeah, well,
that's what my aim is for. My aim is trying to do.
That's a good point, Uncle. Anybody who may be watching on the live streams or in the Ochelli Radio Network, join the chat. There's a chat on all of these live stream channels, the YouTube, the Twitch. The Twitter, you can leave a comment, but we don't see it. But nonetheless, leave one anyway, and we can respond to the ones on a lot of the platforms, and we'll have a conversation right on this show.
And I'd like to know, when are you going to be able to talk to our neighbors over here?
When will I be able to?
Yeah.
About what? What do I need to talk to them about?
What, the YouTube people?
No. Our neighbors that we have over here, trying to
directly next door.
Yeah. No, not that side. That side.
What do I need to talk about?
2 houses down.
2 houses. What am I talking to?
No, 3 houses down.
Wait, it is the YouTubers then.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
YouTube people.
When am I going to talk to them?
The chance to.
I haven't seen them in a long time. When they first moved in, they were out a lot. What happened to them?
I've been walking the dogs.
Yeah.
I talked to the father half the time.
Yeah.
I talked to the sister part of the time.
Okay.
I've been talking to them, but I can't say what you have to say to them because you have to do it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay. Well,
and then you don't have the time, and
so you've had a lot of interactions
with those people. Okay. But I'd like to one day, if you would be able to, getting around, just conversation with them. That's all. Having conversation with them.
Okay.
And that's all, and then see what they say.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, as we're getting at, you're the one that's the guy about town, much more so than me. I don't get out a lot, that's for sure. When I'm here at home, I'm usually just in here, and I feel like it's not a lot of time. You go out with the dogs and walk around a lot more than me. But at some point, when I come out of my hole, if I do see them, I might start up a conversation. I'm like, hey, how's that YouTube been going? Hey, I YouTube. Not successfully like you, but I've made stuff on there. So
even if you say that may get them to talk. That's what I'm saying. Just get them to talk.
I might say, do you like broadcasts?
Yeah.
I might say that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when I'll do that. Yeah, if I see them, I might.
I shot a few cards to them, but I never had a comment from them.
Yeah.
You know, on my own cards, I hand them out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there. I might talk to them sometime. Is that a good answer? That's a terrible answer, but that's what I got.
No, that's the tempo I heard last week and the week before. Well.
Press the button, everybody.
Press the button and let's get going.
Press the button. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter X. Press the buttons and follow us. You're not going to want to miss content like Drilling for Bacon. You will be able to catch this show when it streams live. I've made sure to retweet the live stream via the Uncle the Podcast X account too, so that's going to help us out. So that's exciting. Let me go and see. Yeah, the viewage numbers are pretty good. Yeah, I see there's a couple people on YouTube. If you could leave a... Come on, let's join the chat. Tell us what you think. What do you think about bacon? What do you think about neighbors that are YouTubers? What do you think?
I know where you're going with this.
You do? Good, because I don't.
With the bacon.
Where are we, Uncle?
Next door neighbors.
Oh, when I talk to him, I'm gonna mention bacon.
That side.
Oh, now we are talking about the other neighbors. I thought we were the first time.
Yeah.
Listen here, neighbor.
This is I see now where we're going with this. Yeah. That is the top of a question. These neighbors over here.
Yeah.
Don't hardly talk to me anymore. And then they all went bananas.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody in this house is worried about the
bacon.
The tree with the fruit on it. This going on. Yeah. Now I know. Now I see where you're going. I've been trying to understand where this bacon. Now I understand.
It's all clear now.
Yeah. They have that whole small garage packed.
They filled up their garage? It's all filled up with stuff?
That small one.
Oh, that's good.
I just retweeted those X links that you put out there, so hopefully that helps too. And I had to repost the corpse grinder thing too, by the way, the guy's winning the little toys in the arcade.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, I had to put that out there with it. So
I was wondering if we were going to do a preview of your guessing games. Wheel of Fortune, like you used to do. Yeah.
My guess, Wheel of Fortune.
Whoa, you want to do Wheel of Fortune?
Guess a game, and they would be able to walk and
the show.
Talk on the show. You'd be the. Don't you remember?
I am not. We did this on the show, a guessing game.
Yeah. 4 hours back.
With a guest? Did we do it with a guest?
No, you had to try to get the guest on. If you can guess this, guess that. See, now he's lost.
Is this the questions we ask the listeners?
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting thought. How about if you did a game show night on one of the Uncle broadcasts, right? Like, let's just say we did something real basic. You get out a whiteboard and you do a game of old-fashioned game of hangman, let's say, and people got to guess the letters.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could play games. Yeah,
I'll do that for. Maybe start that to shake it up a little. And that way people may get back on.
Yeah. Play Pictionary. That could be fun. Yeah. I'm up for anything. And the video game streams. What about those? You want to keep playing video games and streaming, Uncle? You want to get back at that? Because we've been doing the VHS streams a lot, but we haven't done a video game one in a long time.
Yeah, we need to get to the video games.
You want to do that again?
Yeah, get back to them.
Yeah.
That also.
I'll do that again. Those are fun.
I mean, well, you've been on for the camping, and that we can do it. But I was thinking this weekend,
Yes.
We can do at least one.
We'll have to do some kind of live stream, whether VHS or video games or one of those. So we'll have to do a live stream of some kind. So we'll figure that out. I do really enjoy doing those live streams on Saturday and the day. They're fun. Yeah. We do have a lot of VHS tapes which we could watch. We've got a few of those. We've got so many
quite
games.
a bit out here. We don't have iTunes, but we still got. I'm still curious about this one that we have, Top Gun. I'm curious.
Oh yeah, we have a Top Gun video.
We have a Top Gun video, and I'm curious about how that starts.
It's Top Guns is the title. Yeah, it's
Guns,
Top Guns.
Not...
Actually, do you want to grab that tape, Uncle, real quick? I'll show the audience what it looks like. You see it over there? You go ahead and take the headphones off real quick and go grab that. Uncle's going to grab the tape so that you can see the Top Guns. I'll show you on camera here. It's yeah, there it is. Let me show the audience here. So if you're watching the live stream, you can see this. It's called Top Guns. It says The Real Pilots, The Real Story.
That really came out to.
Back of the tape says Top Guns, the documentary, is the story of carrier-based fighter pilots in the 1980s. Meet the men who are the best fighter pilots in the world. Hear their views on flying and combat. See their rigorous training and months and years of hard working. So it's a documentary of the real-life Top Gun guys, I guess. In the 80s, no less. So
we got a caller. Think I heard of him well.
We have a call.
All right, hey, caller. You're on the Hunk the Uncle Show.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Hello, Uncle. This is Jimmy James.
Jimmy's back. I told you he'd show up.
Told us. All right, what's up, Jimmy?
Sorry about that. I was tired and put out for a minute there.
Oh. So what's been up with you?
Hey, you know what happened yesterday? All of a sudden, bloop, football started practice. All of a sudden, my phone automatically knows to pop up the line scoreboard.
They do that automatically?
On my phone, it did. So, yeah, I guess they're playing already. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, they're playing. They're playing the preseason games.
So, Jimmy, you haven't seen any of the games yet, then, right?
Well, I just observed it on my phone.
Ah, okay. Because I was curious.
They show highlights.
Okay, because Uncle was talking a little earlier about rule changes.
What did you hear about the rule changes
that they made? So I was just curious if you, because I didn't watch any. So, I glanced at a baseball game last week because I had a friend over. Regular Joe stopped by my house out of nowhere one night. And, he drove from Kentucky to Georgia and showed up on my doorstep because I'm crazy. I invite people to my house. But I didn't expect him to show up when he did. And there was a replay of a baseball game on. I haven't watched a baseball game in a long time. And so we were watching that. But I didn't know that football was starting, and I didn't know about the rule changes. So, anyway, Uncle brought it up, and I was just wondering if you had any views on that, Jimmy.
I think change in general in football is probably not good.
Well, every time there's been a change in football, it seems to me like there's always a massive objection. When they went from the helmets that had one bar across and they said you couldn't do that anymore, you had to actually put a face mask on, right? And things like that. I mean, when they changed the pads up, when they changed other requirements in the game, this and that, TV timeouts became a thing, right? I mean, people got irritated every time there was a change, but I don't know. I got a sense about these. It might be weirder, sort of like the baseball thing where they started running a clock against the pitchers, right? I mean, it might change the game a bit, Jimmy, don't you think?
Probably. Probably not for the best.
What do you think?
I did notice we lost horribly to the New York Giants. Something like 3-12 or 14.
14 to 3 was your final.
Now, the highlights I did see were the Lions apparently did good. That guy named Hooker's obviously going to make a good receiver. And that dude that they got from the Detroit Panthers, the kicker with the problematic name, very good. And the Lions always need a very good pitcher.
There we go. Yeah, I know that in the chat at YouTube, Sally Dahl is asking about the Dodgers. They're doing pretty well.
They're doing fine.
The Phillies were at the top of the National League, I think, or actually they're top of the National League for sure.
I know they were up there.
I think they still
Philadelphia's been up there. They've been up there. They've been up there. But they took a few games away from them, but not quite a lot.
But the Dodgers are doing good too, right, Uncle?
Yeah.
I've been watching too much baseball.
Well, between that and now that has the preseason football.
Preseason football, we're excited. It's going to be good. It's already there were games on today.
What's her name still on the tube now? She'd be stuck on that tube.
You talking about your sister?
Mm-hmm. She'll be stuck on that tube till the Super Bowl's over.
Till the Super Bowl's over. Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
That's how she is in this football stuff.
Yeah. A lot of exciting games going on. The Steelers were on earlier, I noticed.
Yeah, the Steelers were playing Texas.
Texas, okay.
And they got beat.
Okay.
You figure these games are preseason football games to know what the rookies do. This is what the preseason's all about. Mm-hmm. If they can make the team or not.
Yep.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, the team, they don't care about winning the games. It's not even about that. Yeah.
It's not because the season hasn't even started. They're saying, okay, we gone to the draft. Okay, we all went to the draft. We got these new players. Let's put them in their preseason games. In fact, there's only now 3 preseason games. They cut it to 5 to 3 now. And so they got to bring them, and they got to have them cut down at 53 certain time. Or is it 63? It's 53.
Is it 53? I know, yeah, it's pretty small. I think 53.
So they have to have it knocked down for up to a certain date.
Yeah. So it's all about in the preseason.
Preseason stuff.
I'm looking quickly at the current Major League Baseball standings, and I see that the Baltimore Orioles and the Phillies have the most wins in the regular season currently. But trailing only by 1 game is the Yankees, who have 68 wins, and they're the next, the second place team in the AL East with the Baltimore Orioles. So, just typically, let's look at how bad the Mets are losing, because that's all we can look for. So they're 8 games behind the Phillies, and I'm sure they'll remain there for the rest of the season, even though, looks like, what do we got here, 110, 115, so they probably got about 45 more games left, depending on which team we're talking about.
That's
good.
about right. About all of those, about that figure time.
Yeah, so with some discipline, the Mets could easily make it up and overtake the Phillies, but they are the Mets, so that's that. Outside of that, let's see who else is competing. The Minnesota Twins have 65 wins. Let's see, another 65. San Diego Padres, believe it or not. And the Dodgers are at the top of the West with 66 wins at the moment.
They are doing well. I thought so. Yeah. It's a good team. They're a good team. There's no doubt about it.
So they're ahead of the Phillies.
Well, no, the Phillies are...
Well, Phillies are ahead of them.
Well, in the West, they're at the top. Yeah. They're not ahead in the entire National League.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right. The Phillies are in the Eastern Division, and the Dodgers are in the Western Division, and they're each at the head of their divisions.
Divisions.
Right.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Baseball, everybody. What's Ohtani up to? Is he doing okay? Yeah. I haven't heard much about him, really.
I heard that he hit a couple homers.
Okay.
And he made some breaking records.
Okay, he's been breaking records.
I've heard of that, but I haven't seen him much of him.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about him. Before the season started, there was that stuff going on with his manager or whatever, that weird stuff, but then that seems to have quieted down too.
Yeah, that quieted down. There's something about a lawyer came in and something like going on. Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
It seemed to have been resolved. I can't even recall what it was exactly now. I'm having trouble remembering, but I don't know. Baseball, football.
Damn. Them Angels now. Go ahead.
So in football, from the summer league, is that the only success story? The guy that made it to be the kicker for the Lions? Did anyone else from that other football league make it?
I know some are going to make it. What they need to be or not, I think they're going to be in there before the season starts. But the ones, of course, they have this problem about cutting players to a certain amount. And I know one guy has been, I believe, had made it, and he's with the team that he got drafted from. I forget her team now.
Taking a look at the NFL, looks like they're in week 2 of 4 for the preseason, so they're about halfway done with the preseason. That means a lot of things can still change regarding who they're going to keep and cut, right?
Correct. Yeah, they have to get down to a certain amount, like you said, 53. I think it is 53, not 63. 53.
That seems right. That
seems right. That's right. So
right.
To get down to that amount, then what they have to do is make a lineup for themselves, all the teams. They try get these players to play in the preseason, like I was talking about, and they get them and see who they think it can make the team and things that he might have to cut, and they go through that process now at this time before the season starts.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at it. You're right, Uncle. It's 53 players on the active roster in the regular season with an additional 16 on the practice squad. So
that was it. So 16
They got a practice squad. Yeah. They can. Yeah, if they get cut from the main team, they can make the practice team, which is still not bad.
It. I didn't know how many in the practice team, but then he said 16. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah. Here you go. So preseason is up and running. They did that, what was it, the game in Ohio. Okay, we got another call.
Another call on. Let's see who this is on the Uncle Show. I'm calling. Hello.
You're live.
Hello, Uncle.
You're live. Who is this?
This is Danny in Northern California. How you doing, Uncle?
Danny, what you been up to?
Oh, I've been up. I just had a wonderful dinner with my wife, and we watched an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and my wife went to go play a video game on her phone, and I decided to call in and see what was happening with the Uncle Show, and I hear you talking football. So, Uncle, who's your favorite all-time football player?
Old football player.
All time, yeah.
All time.
Anytime. It's a lot to choose from, Uncle.
Larry Zonka.
Larry Zonka?
Larry Zonka, the bull.
Oh, Larry Zonka. Yeah, from the
72 years. Yeah. That man, when he was going through the line, and they couldn't stop him.
Uncle, you remember what I remember about Larry Zonka?
What?
He was one of the hosts of American Gladiators.
That's right.
He was.
That's right. He was.
I never seen him.
Co-host. Yes.
I never seen him.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that would stand there in a blazer and a microphone and be like, "How are you doing, Blaze?" Or whatever name they came up with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here's our new Gladiator, Ice.
I didn't know that.
Well, Larry Zonka. Yeah. So that was my memory as a kid of Larry Zonka, because I didn't used to watch football when I was young like that, but I did watch American Gladiators.
See,
I heard him.
Wasn't Larry Zonka still active when you were on the Special Olympics, Uncle? Like right around that time? Wasn't he still an active player?
Yes. Yeah. Still a little bit time. Yeah. That was before they went down to the what year? Wasn't in the 72, was it? What year was
gosh,
that?
I don't know.
If it was a 72, they won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because they beat Washington Redskins at the time named, but not named now. But
now the Commanders. The Commanders now.
Yeah, Commanders. Yeah.
The Commanders now. Yeah.
Well, Danny, it's good to have you. Who would you say is your favorite player?
Yeah, who is your favorite player?
Who you got?
Well, my favorite. Well, I have a couple favorite all-time NFLs, but for my players that remind me of Larry Csonka would be Marv Hubbard of the Oakland Raiders and John Riggins of the Redskins, and I would also put Earl Campbell in that category, just a very difficult runner to stop, and maybe even a Bo Jackson of the Raiders. I would say my two all-time favorite players would be Joe Montana of the San Francisco 49ers, and then the Raiders would be Tim Brown of the Raiders. I mean, Joe Montana of the 49ers, I'm sorry, and would be Tim Brown of the Raiders. Those would be my two all-time favorites. But I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, so anybody that comes from Notre Dame. And I remember listening to the radio. I hadn't even seen Joe Montana play, and I remember the first time I heard him coming in the game, they were losing to North Carolina, and he pulled that game out. So I've always been a big fan of Joe Montana.
Hey, Danny, who was the Raider they called the Mad Bomber? Who was that guy?
Mad Bomber.
The only one that I can think of, but that might have been Daryl LaMonica. He was really gross. Yeah, I think he was more Ken Stabler. Yeah,
right.
Al Davis had a huge. He wanted really speedy receivers, and he wanted to throw the long ball. So I believe that was Daryl LaMonica. I could be mistaken.
It sounds right. It sounds right.
Might be right. They also had a wide receiver, Branch, for the Raiders.
Branch was very fast, number 21. Yes, he was a speedster. So that was always Al Davis' thing, was speed. I remember when they drafted Tim Brown, they got Willie Gault, who I think he was an Olympic sprinter, and they wanted to emphasize Willie Gault over Tim Brown. And Tim Brown became far better, overall a better receiver. He did punt returns, kickoff returns, and receive. And I think he was like the third all-time receiver. And for whatever reason, it took him third round to make the Hall of Fame, which I think was wrong.
Go. Who? Well, I know that Sally Dahl says that Warren Moon. That seems to be her favorite player. So we got that from the YouTube chat there. Jimmy, what about you? You got a favorite player?
What's your favorite, Jimmy?
Oh wait, Jimmy's on hold. Sorry, hold on.
Okay. We'll
He's on hold. What happened to him?
I'll get him up. There we go.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So I said all that to nothing.
Sorry.
Well, everyone else got to name a few, so I want to name a few. Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and O.J. Simpson. That's right. I said it. I'm sorry. I'm sticking with it. We're talking football.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah, the good. That's funny. Around Tony's wife. Yeah, I know.
There's no rule against it.
He was a good ball player. He was a good ball player. I'm taking that away from him. But
absolutely,
it's after the time.
I would say Barry Sanders, pound for pound, was probably the greatest running back ever. I mean, he really was probably the greatest. I mean, Barry Sanders just was amazing running back.
That running back for the Bears. Oh, and he also has a star of his designer picture. Every year they get this award.
You're talking about the Walter Payton?
Payton Award.
That's what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. What Paint Award?
Man of the Year award.
Man Award. Yeah. He made it for that purpose for him, and then okay, who do you think is going to be at this coming year?
It's like
question marks. So we don't know yet. We haven't seen play yet.
The philanthropic award in the NFL. It's like who does the best in that with like the charity work and whatnot.
Yeah, since that came up, Jimmy talked about them teams, and then I mentioned that.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody's excited about football here. I want to watch some of the preseason games. I kind of like watching and seeing what the new guys can do.
Sunday is the Rams will play.
So
they're playing Dallas.
Yeah, I want to see.
They're playing Dallas.
I want to see who they put in there. Hopefully they put like Fisk and Verse both in there. I want to see what those guys do.
He's going to put them in. I mean,
right?
And now the coach. The coach doesn't matter the win or lose because of this preseason stuff, but he's going to try to put some new players in that they even got from the draft.
He'll put all of them in.
Yeah,
he will play all of them.
Oh, they're going to play all of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And see how it goes. Mm-hmm. That's my other team, by the way. Before anybody complains about who's playing what teams are mine and what teams are theirs, my two teams is the Rams and Miami. And I want to hear but nobody talk about the team. I'm tired of hearing that from everybody talking.
Well, I know that Danny seemed to go with both of the Bay Area teams, and I can tell he likes both of them. So you got that going on too. You ever catch heat for liking both teams, Danny?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had people because it's usually one or the other. I mean, I started out as a Raiders fan, but primarily I'm a Notre Dame fan. I've been a huge fan of Notre Dame since I was like 4 years of age. So I do root for players that make it to the NFL. And at that time, when Joe Montana came to San Francisco, I started rooting for both teams. I had no reason to dislike either team. I've had people tell me, you can't be a fan of either. And I said, yes, I can. I am. So here I go. So I didn't really ever felt there were rivalries because one was NFL and one was AFL. So,
correct. The only time they would meet, if they meet, it would be in the Super Bowl.
There we go.
If you think of it,
that's never happened once. Not a problem.
If you think of it that way.
Yeah,
that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah. Now that they start the interleague play, you have the A's and the Giants. I've always been more of an A's fan, so I do root for the A's over the Giants. Even though the Giants is a better organization for the fan experience, I don't dislike the Giants. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
The A's ownership is absolutely awful to the fans.
You know, when it comes to the Raiders, though, I got to tell you, Romanowski and Tatum are definitely two of my favorite guys. So, yeah. I wonder why.
I read his biography. He was a really good biography because when he was recruited out of college. Woody Hayes never talked to him. Woody Hayes recruited his mother, and he was in New Jersey. Jack Tatum was from New Jersey, and he was playing basketball, and somebody from the neighborhood said, "Hey, Jack, you better go check out your mom. There's some vacuum cleaner salesman trying to sell your mom a vacuum." And they showed up there, and it was Woody Hayes having coffee and pie with his mom, and his mom says, "You're going to go with Coach Hayes." And Jack Tatum had nothing but praise for Woody Hayes. He was like a father to him.
Woody Hayes, I know well from my time in Columbus. There was many a mural of Woody Hayes and lots of shrines to him. You go to different hole-in-the-wall bars, again, like a big painting of Woody Hayes on the wall. So definitely I know of him just because of that, just from living around there. So.
And, here's the funny thing. In the chat room, apparently Face Shifter says Ohtani hit his 35th homer tonight. So
there we go. So he's doing what he does.
Yep.
It's homers.
He's hitting home runs. Okay, well, there we go. He's playing just fine, as I figured he would be.
And he said a little while ago that the Dodgers were up over Pittsburgh 7-1 in the fifth. But that was a little while ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're playing Pittsburgh.
Uncle, this is a full sports update.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Oh. All the sports, all the time. Not Barstool.
I'd like to add one thing about football is what I went to a really small high school, and we had a really good football team, and I ended up playing with 4 guys in this high school of 350 students, and four players ended up in the NFL, and only one was ever got a scholarship out of the 4. It's a really small high school. 4.
Out of the 4 got the scholarship.
Yeah. I played with 4 guys that ended up in the NFL. One ended up in the quarterback. I'm not going to mention names. You can look it up. It was the '85 Super Bowl quarterback for the losing team for the New England Patriots. I grew up with him. His brother ended up going to UC Davis, and he got drafted to the Houston Oilers, and he ended up being a safety. And there was a lineman. He ended up playing for the Redskins, and he got a Super Bowl ring. He was, I never thought he was really big. He was the backup tackle for Joe Jacoby, the All-Pro. As a matter of fact, we had a reunion. He brought a Super Bowl ring. I got to put it on. And one other quarterback ended up getting drafted to the Niners, and it was the preseason game, and I watched him fumble twice, and then he was cut the next day. So it was just a really fluky thing to play with that many guys in the NFL.
Very cool. Yeah, I see that we've got Green Seed in the chat, and he's saying that he likes Pinball Clements, but he thinks that might be CFL. So there we go. Look out, Green Seed's over there.
Who's Clements?
Pinball Clements?
Pinball Clements.
I'm not sure if it's a real person.
No idea who that is.
If he's talking about a Notre Dame quarterback, it was one of my favorites as a kid in the early 70s. It was a guy named Tom Clements. And he led Notre Dame to the championship when they beat Bryant's Alabama team, Air Parsegan. He ended up in the Canadian Football League, if memory is correct. I was Tom Clements.
Maybe it was him. Maybe it was him. Who knows?
Yeah. I just know when Green Seed was on the show, he was talking about the Seattle Fishmongers needing to be a new expansion team.
Oh, yeah. That thing again.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. That talking about expansion teams.
Yeah,
that guy kept talking about that thing because he's saying, how come these teams haven't been trying get preseason, get these other players in? Who said that? Somebody did.
Uncle, seeing as how we have these callers and we're getting toward the end of the show, why don't we let everybody do a shout out? What do you say?
Yep.
Shout out.
That sound good?
Okay. The first one was Jimmy. Go from there for the shout outs.
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
Jimmy, who you got to shout out to?
Shout out to the hapless Detroit Lions. Good luck. You'll need it.
Oh, no. All right, well. That sounds good, Jimmy. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you for calling.
Right,
second caller.
We have Danny on the line.
Danny was the second one, I think.
Who do you want to shout out to tonight?
Who you shout out to?
Thank you for letting me come in and participate. And I'd have a shout out for my Fighting Irish. And the A's are coming to Sacramento to play for 2 to 3 seasons before they go to Vegas. And I want everybody to take care.
Talking about
Hey, thanks, Danny. It's great to talk to you, man. I didn't realize that the A's were going to Vegas, but it makes sense.
Talking about that, I forgot to tell him.
Okay.
Florida State is going to come to you guys. Notre Dame.
Oh, they're going to play Notre Dame. Okay.
Notre Dame.
Oh, you're talking about like the conference change?
Conference change.
Yeah, okay.
They're coming this year.
That's another conversation.
Conversation for next time we talk.
They'll be playing at USC. Yeah, it's their time to play at USC in November.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
All right, Danny, it's great to have you, man. Call back anytime.
Call back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Uncle, did you want to shout anybody out?
Well, shout out to everybody that was listening, and whoever was in the States have been listening. I appreciate it.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck, would you like to do a shout out? Bring you on for a shout out?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay.
I appreciate all you guys that listen. That's all I'm going to say. I appreciate all the listeners. How about that? Everybody who listens, I appreciate you. Spread the word. Thanks.
Yeah, likewise. Please do that. Thank you, everybody who happens to be watching this, who listens regularly. If you're just seeing this on like a live stream on Twitter, for instance, and you enjoy it, follow the Twitter. Subscribe to the podcast on any podcatcher. We're on all of them, pretty much. Uncle the Podcast, you can find
almost all of them now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so wound up and knowing you're doing all of it, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what one do I listen to? I'm even confused.
Just Uncle the Podcast. If you use that as your general search term, you're going to find us. I mean, where we're not shadow banned. But, if you found us, wherever you found us, stay there and keep doing it. And UncleThePodcast.com is the hub for all of our stuff, so you can go there. I will also use this moment to once again drive home the point, drilling for bacon.
Oh, yes, we know who that was now.
We got to say that again. It has to be said. I mean, if we don't say it, who will? That's all I gotta say.
I finally figured out who it was about.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out the bacon. I got it now. I know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Uncle's on top of this. And we should be doing tomorrow. Look for a live stream. We'll be probably watching a VHS tape, or maybe we'll play a video game again sometime in the day tomorrow on Saturday. So follow our feeds, YouTube, Twitch, again, the X, my X thing, or the Kick, or the other ones. What is it, Uncle?
That's our show, I suppose. 340 years in the books. Bye-bye. I do need I'll put the hose on the sprayer, because she wants me to spray that dog thing.